Are you getting better at relationships? Is there a goal? Because we talked a lot about like the overall idea of procreation, lifelong mate, et cetera, et cetera. And we
Right.
both had varying opinions.
I think I'm getting better at it, but you always think that when you're not in one. So
yeah, you're the best boyfriend you've ever been right now.
I mean, when you're not in a relationship, you're an amazing partner. Are you kidding me? I'm understanding. I'm caring. Yeah. Your tank is always full when there's nothing draining it.
That's correct.
Do you know what I mean?
Or not even, draining. I like the word draining.
No, it's draining. Draining is not a negative, nor draining is just, it's a process that happens when something takes from another. Yeah. So it is draining. And if there's nothing draining, then your tank is always full. And so it's easy to move through life going, my tank is full. My tank is full. My tank is full. And one of the best things someone ever said to me was, they said was a relationship therapist actually, a good friend of mine, and she said, you'll think you fixed everything that you needed to fix until you meet someone who reignites all of the questions that you haven't answered from your childhood. And that's fundamentally all we're doing. It's like you're going from one relationship to the next, being forced to answer questions about yourself that have generally come from your childhood, sometimes from previous relationships as an adult.
What questions pop up for you?
Oh, wow. I mean, the big ones I've always had to work on was understanding how me growing up in an environment where I didn't always believe that my needs were met or would be met, meant that I was extremely self-sufficient, and I still am. But then what that can do is it could put me in a position where I wouldn't know how to rely on other people. I wouldn't know how to ask for help. I wouldn't know how to lean on people. I would, I used to say, you and I used to joke about this actually, is like, getting canceled on? Oh, I loved it. Oh, what a joy.
The nicest thing you can do.
What a joy. Hey, I won't be able to make it, Trevor. Oh, too bad. Oh.
Yeah, never loved you so much.
My face.
I've never felt more sane.
Yeah, in that moment. But what it taught me was I wasn't good at needing people. I wasn't good at opening myself up to be hurt. And I think these are all fundamental components of love, a fuller love. Is putting yourself in a position to be hurt. Like the hardest gut punch somebody can give you is when you open your arms wide to hug them. If you keep your arms tight, you can protect yourself pretty well.
I didn't even want to hug.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. They can hug you, but if you stay like this, you're good. So it took me a while to understand that the way I had grown up and the relationship that I had had with my mom and my world, more importantly, funny enough, because sometimes we think it's about the relationship with a person.
When you say my world, what do you mean?
My stepfather was an extremely violent person. He had problems with alcohol, and because of that, I didn't know where my world would or wouldn't be. And my mother was in a situation where she was trying to make the world seem normal or tell me that it was going to be fine, but it wasn't fine. And I think this is something parents take for granted oftentimes. You're trying to be good to your kid. And so you go, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Hey, that won't happen again. This won't happen again. But when it does, at some point, the kid goes, I don't know if you know when things are going to be okay or not.
Yeah, they lose credibility.
Like, I don't know if you've ever been on a flight. Have you ever been on a flight? I don't know if you've ever been on an airplane where a pilot tells you ahead of time there's going to be turbulence. They come on, hey folks, we've got a bit of turbulence. We're just going to ask you to keep your seatbelts fastened. They do that whole thing. When you hit the turbulence, you have a new measure of confidence in the pilot. You're like, oh, well, the pilot told me it was coming. Told me it was coming. But then you'll be on a flight where they say nothing. You hit bad turbulence. Flight attendant has to sit down next to you, which is like, that's never planned. And then it's chaos. And then the pilot comes back and goes, all right, folks, looks like we got through the worst of the bumps. Should be all good to move around the cabin. And then it hits again like 20 minutes later. You've lost all. Now you look out the window trying to spot clouds that might in some way, shape or form screw up this flight. You just lose a trust in that person's ability to keep you safe. And I know that happened to me as a child. While my mom was trying to do one thing, which many parents try and do, which is protect you and paint a picture of the world that they feel will will bring you peace and calm, they don't realize what they're actually creating is a world where you don't trust them.
Yeah, and also she's your mother by your account and all accounts is like she's great.
Yeah.
But she's still a woman in a fucked up romantic relationship.
Yeah.
And she might prioritize that over you guys or you, and you're just caught in this thing.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as a child, nuance is the last thing that you are, we don't traffic in nuance as children.
Yeah.
You're just going, that was good and that was bad. This happened, and what they said that is not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do a better job of protecting myself. So in relationships, what I then learned was, both romantic and otherwise, I learned that I grew up assuming that people wouldn't be there or situations wouldn't be the way they were going to be. And so what I would have to do then to protect myself is prepare, eliminate the elements of surprise and prepare myself for all possibilities. And so then I would live my life like that. But now
assuming the worst.
Yeah. But you can't be a great partner like that.
Did you find the thing where because you expected it would happen?
In what way?
Meaning it was a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing? And I think people use that as an excuse. Like, well, you don't trust me anyway, so I gave you something to not trust me about or whatever. But I often wonder, like, if you then attract people that aren't going to be reliable, or I think my big question as you're saying this is like, how do you make a conscious choice to do a very subtle emotional thing that you weren't in control of shutting off?
Mm-hmm.
How do you turn it back on?
So this is by no means advice. And I'm very careful to give like a one-size-fits-all solution to anybody. But I feel, at least from my experience.
I'd also like to say you've been happy in all the relationships I've known you. I'm not trying to just like,
oh,
this
no,
guy
yeah,
would come
no,
to
no.
me and be, I'm just.
No. I mean, to your point, that's, blocks. It's understanding why something happens when it happens, the way it happens, repeatedly.
Yeah.
So I think anybody who finds themselves in relationships will find that they have some blocks that they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm completely with you on that. And it goes to what you're saying. Are you better, or are you, what I started realizing was, again, in the same way that diagnosing ADHD was more important than treating it, I think communication in a relationship is more important than fixing the things about yourselves that are causing you problems in that relationship. If you just learn to develop effective communication between the two of you, which starts right at the beginning, and I mean like right at the beginning, we take it for granted.
The app.
Take it for granted.
Yeah.
It all starts with like the smallest contortion of who you are.
Uh-huh.
I would say to people, be a more honest version of yourself, but also prepare yourself for the fact that you will also be a more alone version of yourself for a bit.
You got to risk it.
Yeah, well, because two things will happen. The more you are you, the fewer people match up with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a one-size-fits-all cap, you're going to fit all heads.
Yeah.
But you're going to stretch in all different directions. And when people put you back down, you don't even know what you are. But when you go like, this is my size, there's going to be fewer heads that fit you. And so it's very difficult to do that, especially if you've done the other way around.
Well, you want to be liked.
Yeah. And you want to have people. You want to have love. You want to be connected. Yeah. If there was one thing I would say has changed for me, and it's something that I would encourage people to try, is see what happens when you say out loud the thing that's happening in your head or in your world or in your anything. See how much people embrace you. Say to somebody, they go, hey, let's go to dinner. You plan a thing a week in advance. See what happens if you tell them like on the day, hey, I feel like trash. I don't even want to speak to another human being right now. I had a tough time at work. I don't make up any story. Just be like, I just don't.
Yeah.
See what happens. That person might show you a certain level of empathy that you weren't expecting. You might also be showing them a piece of you that might be valid in knowing if you're going to go into a relationship with them.
Yeah, if you do it in a kind way as well.
Yeah. Like you open yourself up. You just say, I'm struggling, or this is not going to be, or this is, even small things I've learned, even when you're like in the throes of love. Maybe the reason I think I'm better now is because now I can tell you when I'm drunk in love. I can tell you as the person I'm drunk in love with. I can go like, hey, I'm drunk right now. I would not normally do this. So usually on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'm probably going to watch a Liverpool game. I'm drunk right now. And so because I'm drunk, I'm going to come with you to the farmer's market.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't usually.
This is all hypothetical, not based on a true story at all.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's something beautiful in that. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm the one saying it, but I think it's nice for somebody to know that this isn't me. You make me feel like I can do or be something that I'm not. And in this moment, I'm having a lot of fun and I'm enjoying it. But please don't assume that this is me. This is not who I have been. It might be who I become.
Yeah.
But this is not who I've been. So there's a good chance that that won't be who I will be going forward. And I think that's where we screw each other over in relationships is we're drunk in the beginning. We do all the things you would only do when you're drunk.
Yeah.
And then as the alcohol starts to
wear off. And you pretend like, I'm not drunk.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
Yeah. This is me. And then you start to sober up.
And by the way, you don't have to be drunk. I think there's that like people-pleasing window.
Yeah. Which is,
2 or 3 months.
I still think it's a drunkenness. That's what I mean. It's like you're intoxicated is a better way to put it. It's you're intoxicated by that person.
And do you find that you're fitting less hats?
Definitely.
Or less heads?
Yeah, definitely. Which is
good.
It's a lonelier place to be in. People forget the jump in the same way that people will quickly talk about AI creating new jobs, but then forgetting that there's a gap between AI coming out and people finding what the new jobs are.
Yeah.
That gap could be 2 years. That gap could be 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the gap is. We've never known what the gap is with technology. I think the same applies to relationships. You don't realize what the gap in your life will be when you make a positive change. You don't. We just assume you go to therapy, you get better, and then your life immediately gets better. You see the results. No. There might be a moment in time where it's like, oh, you might start hemorrhaging a few friends.
You'll lose some friends, yeah.
You might lose a piece of your world. You might lose a piece of
business
yourself.
Partner, friend, yeah.
Yeah, even like how you thought you were.
Yeah.
Because you start realizing, a lot of the glue that kept this together was me bending to be something that I'm not.
Yeah. Have you had a thing where you say, hey, I'm drunk, and then they still expect that in the future, even though you told them this is
completely
conditional?
Definitely.
And then you can't blame them.
Definitely.
And it's like, yeah, I get how you would think that.
Definitely.
No one wants to believe like he's drunk. They think he really likes me. It's like it's the stripper thing.
Yeah. That's a perfect analogy, actually.
Yeah.
The strippers will literally look someone in the eye and say, hey, this is just my job. I'm going to make you feel like I love you, but this is just my job. And that person goes, I get it. And 2 hours later, they're going, so do I wait for you afterwards or?
What's your street name? What? You've never told anyone it before?
I have a funny relationship with golf. Like I like the hang.
Yeah.
And then I get a kick out of how seriously people take that absolutely ridiculous, stupid activity.
Yep.
Unless if it actually helps you. If that's the place you need to go. There's a lot of people that, there's a lot of men that are not in happy marriages and they didn't marry easy women. Now, that's not a popular opinion out there. The popular opinion is that if there's a problem in the relationship, the man is the problem. Yeah. And it's just not true. No. It's just, it's probably even. You know what I mean? But women are stealth overbearing. It's not like they're taking the belt to you and beating you down and stuff, but it's more chemical warfare.
It's also it's radioactivity.
Yeah, it's invisible.
Mists. Yeah,
carbon monoxide.
Yes,
emotional carbon monoxide. Yes. So these guys, they just are managing
a difficult
They're
situation.
like a game manager quarterback, and they're just trying to stay in the fucking game, and they get to the golf course, and they just get to like just leave that alone.
You get to be like a full person instead of like, I feel like a lot of guys in marriages are.
And I have to tell you something right now. That is the worst fucking thing that you can do to somebody is if you're in a relationship with somebody and they feel like they cannot be. You just said be a full person.
Yeah, I used to say I don't want to be a guest in my own life. That's how bad relationships make you feel. Like I'm like a guest in my own experience. I have to run it through you, or it has to be okay for you. That was the thing I said to you a few weeks ago.
Like punch a clock.
Yeah, like what am I allowed to be instead of like I was dating a girl and you had jokes in your act that I wanted her to see because I didn't know how to tell her.
And I guarantee you, unless she was okay, first off, what I was saying was correct. Let's start there.
Yeah.
And then if she was mature enough or wired in a way that she could take information if she could actually admit being wrong, which isn't something that some people could do. Some people can, some people can't do it. But if you were somebody that can't say that, you know what, I was wrong, like, my wife can do that, and that just goes so many miles with me.
Yeah,
because it's like I'm not sitting here saying I'm a perfect person by any stretch of the means. I'm just saying you did that. It made me feel like that I was fucked up. And if she can be just like, all right, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, and it goes away.
I know
it goes away. It's
and
just
you
like,
get
all right.
so you're like, I fuck with you. I like you so much for that. My girl now. She did something. It wasn't even that egregious. It was just like, we talked it out. And she goes, most of the relationships I've been in, the guy was the fuck up. So having that attention on me that I made the mistake, my girl said, I had the thought, wait, is this what guys go through in relationships? And I was like, fucking yeah, all the time. Long-term relationships.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Go. We would have thought you were having a very easy time with committing to one person, what with your schedule and being a musician.
Yeah.
Everyone thought that it was going to be
Aren't
easy.
you surprised?
Yeah. A walk in the park with you. What's going on, Mark? What's happening?
Well, it's weird now because right now, for the first time in literally a decade, I am in like a good, healthy, committed thing with a really excellent human being. And it caught me by surprise, and I was not looking for it, kind of actively rejecting that because I thought
it's Erica Badu.
It's yeah, we can announce it here. Erica, come on out.
Come on out.
Yeah.
And she has one of her giant head things on.
We have to like
help her
move.
through. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically it just, I don't know. I think that it's made me realize that for a long time, I think it's possible that I could have been capable of like loving someone, but I believe that I was really afraid of what it does to me. It's like, I jump in very hard, and at first I think that's okay, but I think you have to learn to like live with someone reasonably, you know what I mean? And like be your own person and shit. But I've realized that I have a tendency to get overly obsessive, involved, put all of my energy into the person. And I think somewhere in the back of my mind, I was aware of that and didn't want to flip that switch, So it was like,
had you done it in smaller doses, so to speak?
Yeah.
And with the wrong people, it turns
with
out.
the wrong people,
Yeah.
a decade prior, and it was that, and it was also just not right. But from then that moment on, and then the music thing started happening. So then I'm touring, and first of all, it's just harder to do that. And then, I just very consciously, verbally, regularly kept it casual, one time, no more than 3 times, this kind of thing where I do not develop an attachment.
And you would say up front.
Yes. somewhat upfront within the first evening. You know?
Okay. No. I'm not saying like you like, but don't say a word.
Yeah, no. Before you tell me about your day.
All right. Well, as somebody who's had a similar approach, now I have a great girlfriend and it's going great. Yeah.
That's great.
But my question is, do you say that? You say to the woman that is interested and you're interested in her.
Yeah.
How many of them understood and believed what you were saying? Percentage-wise.
That I was a casual dude and that I didn't want anything beyond.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
I think we all say it, but some of our behavior leads them to believe that this is the behavior of a guy who wants to be more connected to me.
I understand that occasionally it was confusing, probably. You know, it's like if I saw someone multiple times, I do exhibit those qualities of like, I'm being kind and considerate and doing things. And, you know, it's like, these are just things, but I think of it as I'm being kind, and we've already established that I don't, you know, so, but.
The great philosopher Ali Wong once said, clarity is kindness, which I agree with. The problem is it's hard to, people, you know, if it's a good connection.
Exactly.
And you slept with them.
Right.
It's just a very hard thing to like.
I feel like it's next to impossible, you know, to like have that tenderness with someone and see them multiple times and for feelings not to develop in some way for one of you. You know, it's like me, I was very good at like, I already know this is not going to last. So like, I'm already detached. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the fantasy of being tender with somebody.
Right.
With the knowledge that I will never see them again, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I would say that in a much nicer way, you know, in a much more sort of considerate way. But to that effect, yeah, I would say that. But it turns out,
you would say it's not going to happen, baby.
Yeah, baby, listen to me. This thing ain't gonna work out. All right.
Yeah.
Take a walk.
Yeah. That's the nice. That was your nice one.
That's the nice one. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's like, of course we're capable of big, beautiful, life-affirming love. You just have to be, and also it took encountering someone who really made me want to
like,
do that.
In some ways, it's like you're not into it until you are.
I guess was that too, you know? Because I didn't even think about it with my girlfriend. I met her and we had this date that just blew my mind. I was like, I just want to see her again. Yeah. And then I want to see her again. And I want to see her again. And then you're just, I don't know.
The thing that me and my girlfriend talk about is it has to be self-interest. It has to be, I want to see you again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it as a favor to you.
Right.
I'm not doing it because we slept together and I owe you. I'm doing it because it's better to be with you than by myself.
Man.
Or it's awfully close.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But we just get caught up in all these other reasons, I think.
That's a really lovely way of thinking about it. Yeah, you're right. It's selfish.
Yeah.
Like, I want it.
No, I'm here for me.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about you.
Right. Yeah,
best of luck. You figure you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to be here for me. I'm not going on vacation. I'm not taking you on vacation.
Right.
I'm excited to go on vacation with you.
Yeah.
But it's because of the sex and because of the social shit, it's very hard to decouple obligation and shoulds and what are they going to say and and it's like, no, I fuck with you and I want to.
It's so simple once it works. Like once it clicks, it's like it is automatic. It's like reflex. I haven't thought about it really once. It's just like
And what's the
love?
How long's it been?
8 months.
And what are like sort of the features of it?
Well, she lives here. I live in New York. But she is from Brooklyn.
Great.
And so she's back and forth. I'm back and forth. Kind of works in that way.
Yeah.
I'm here, I would say, more often because of her, but it's also been good for business. And the features really, I mean, personally she is every bit as big a personality and her own person and like this ebullient, sociable, graceful, like, she is perfect in a room. She's engaging. Fuck me. It's like, it's just, she is her with or without me.
Yeah.
And that is hyper attractive to me.
She doesn't need your permission.
No, and doesn't want it. And wants
and
to
by the
be,
way, and doesn't have it.
And doesn't, I've forbidden her to
multiple
leave
times.
the apartment.
And you've taken her out of parties.
That's right.
And said, I will not stand for another minute of this.
She says, come on. I said, it's me or nothing.
I'll point to you when it's your time to talk.
Yeah. But it's just someone who, is like very much an equal and like is just independent. That's what I need because like I am that too.
Yeah.
And anyway, I thought that the tendency for myself to sort of fall into these weird kind of, it kind of ties into one of my other blocks that I sent you, which is people pleasing, which is something that I've looked at recently in this relationship, which is like this need that I have to make sure that everything's okay. And in doing so, I'm not really being like honest or like doing things that I really want to do in the interest of like just making sure that everything's fine and taking care of everything because I haven't had a relationship in 10 years. It's like I'm terrified that if anything goes wrong, it'll fall apart and I'll lose this magical thing. So I was really busying myself for the first 6 months or so with like really making sure that everything was just perfect.
Like a dance recital.
Yeah. And she didn't like that. Eventually we had this talk and where, she's like, I want the person you are without me, with me, like just do your thing. It's more attractive to me when you fuck off and do your thing. It's like, that's what I like. Don't bother, she's like, I thought about it and I was like, man, it's something about myself that I thought I had fixed long ago in my friendships. I was a real people pleaser to a problematic degree where it was like,
what was your low?
I don't know if I can think of a specific one, but it was basically like really to the detriment of my happiness. I was doing things for friends. I would like steal money from my parents to go do things with friends because I wanted to say yes to them, that kind of shit where it's like, I'm doing something I inherently know is wrong because I have to be the guy that can do it.
I can't disappoint these people.
Exactly. So that I went through my shit with that and like worked on it and fixed it for the most part. And then I'm here in this relationship. I'm like, I'm doing this again. I am fucking doing this again. It's like this behavior hasn't surfaced in years. And now here I am, like I'm back in my fucking 21, like doing this bullshit. And it just took her kind of pointing it out and me thinking about it and therapizing about it and all this shit to realize like, wow, I really can just take a deep breath and like live my life and also be in love with somebody. And like, that's the healthy version.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe and then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says that there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.